Bloodfist is a 1989 action film from director Terence H Winkless. The movie opens with this guy getting absolutely wrecked. Fist blood, I mean blood fist. Here in Manila, betting on underground fights is big business. Are you not entertained? So it seems he was losing on purpose, but decided his pride means more than the deal.
To hell with the deal. We'll play it your way.
Nice ADR there.
Come on, get up. They paid for this show.
So now that he's fighting back, he wins. Looks like he accidentally beat the guy to death. Oopsies! This upset the makers of the deal. The winner drunkenly stumbles home and is attacked by ninjas! Okay, it's the shadow guy from the audience, who isn't happy about his victory. So he beats him to death. I wonder who it is. Looks like they cleaned up this footage a little too well. He sure seems to be breathing a lot for a dead guy. Over in California, Jake is headed to the gym he owns with his friend Hal. He's putting on a show for some local kids. The kids have questions, mostly about his giant scar. Jake explains why he can't fight professionally.
And you can't fight with one kidney. It's like suicide. So I had to give it up.
He gets a call from his brother. Okay, it's not his brother, it's the hospital, who tells him that his brother, well, his half-brother, was murdered. Jake announces he's going to Manila for answers. So a few quick stock shots and he's in Manila. In case we forgot he's from the US, he's wearing a Hard Rock LA t-shirt. He walks around for a bit to see the whole place is a bit shady. Then some people play Find the Roach. A local group of kids steals his bag, but quickly realize they robbed the wrong guy. He makes his way to the police station.
It's Chinatown, Jake.
Honestly, that's a pretty good line. He goes in and is greeted by Inspector Vic Diaz. Wouldn't be a Corman film in the Philippines without him. The inspector gives him an urn of his brother. So what do? Do I make tea out of him? The police show Jake a bunch of crime scene photos where he's very obviously been beaten. So his death is ruled a suicide. Jake finds a clue in his brother's belongings. The detective tells him to leave Manila and not to go snooping around. So he goes snooping around. Jake takes Mike out to the ocean and just kinda dumps his ashes in the water. He then investigates the crime scene. They keep showing that pitchfork-looking gate. Somebody's gonna land on that before this is over. This is the guy who taught Seagal how to run. Jake follows these guys, wearing the same outfit he found in Mike's possessions. He follows them to the super evil bad guy training center. He watches a bunch of guys fight the lead singer of Sabaton. They won't let him in. He hides his belongings and has a great idea.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
He goes to find where he hid his stuff, but it's been stolen. He notices a guy nearby and asks for help. This wouldn't be the mysterious shady guy, would it? This is Kwong. He tells him all about the evil red fist and gives him his bag. Then they go for a drink. Kwong tells him about the underground fighting tournament. Just then, he gets attacked by Baby Davis.
All the money I have in the world's on the table. I tried to bluff him. Throw me the table, we split the winnings.
So they make it out alive, and Baby brings him back to his place. Here we have an odd explanation of his name.
Baby's my real name. My parents argue all the time. Couldn't agree on what to call me.
Jake goes up on the roof and sees Baby's sister Nancy doing some interpretive dance. Just a reminder, it is very warm in Manila. She doesn't seem too happy with him.
You're very flexible.
Oh God, another American.
They go to see Baby, who's acting weird.
This is my sister, Nancy.
And Jake and Nancy get some dinner. She explains how the two of them ended up living in Manila. The next day, Jake is talking to Kwong. He shows him the mark of the red fist. Jake wants to get revenge, but the only way to do this is to enter the underground fighting tournament. So Kwong offers to train him to fight in the tournament for 20% of his winnings. Is this the first time he's ever shaved? Over in Baby's room.
Who's she?
Oh no, her again.
Excuse me, Your Majesty.
Her again. She won't leave me alone.
Oh no. It's that darn cute Filipino girl that sneaks into my room and brings me delicious breakfast. Jake takes him up on his offer. Kwong takes Jake to the Red Fist training camp and learns about all their best fighters. Here we have Black Rose, the master of Tai Bo. He beats up a bunch of bricks. Then we have Chin Woo, who most often kills his opponents. Kwong then trains Jake outside instead of in the gym. He takes him to the base of a volcano and tells him he needs to run to the top. If he makes it, he gets 1 mango. We then get a training montage. Black Rose thinks this is very funny. After several weeks, he has yet to earn the mango. Later that day, Jake is learning ballet. Nancy makes several passes at him, and he finally gives in. Although Kwong is there to say, "No sex while training! You lose focus!" Jake sees a local with his brother's hat, so he chases him down. Running through Manila barefoot? I hope he's up to date on tetanus shots. He catches the guy, who says he saw who murdered Mike. The police show up and he runs away. Yeah, dude, maybe don't tempt the local police into shooting you. Jake asks a bit about the mysterious fighter named the Snake. Tomorrow starts the tournament. Jake is mostly ready. They go to the fortress and Kwong tells him that one of these fighters is his brother's killer. He has 4 matches in 4 days. Jake sneaks to a hidden area so he can watch the fights.
Half point.
Now it's Jake's first fight. He fights Rattan and is taking a beating. My guy's terrible. I'm gonna just listen to some ABBA. Jake takes a shot to the face, and that wakes him up enough to fight back. It seems Rattan was getting some advice in his earpiece, but Nancy's Walkman messed it up, and so he loses. How does a Walkman, something that isn't Wi-Fi, messes up whatever this guy's doing over here? That night, Baby's celebrating. Jake's on the roof talking to Nancy. She tells him she wants sex, but he says he can't because training. Then he's like, to hell with it, let's do this. Imagine going all the way to the Philippines and having sex with a white girl. What are the odds? Overly annoying girl takes Baby to the roof for some sexy time. The next day, Jake is a little more relaxed. Black Rose wins his fight against this guy. Chun Woo eats a roach and murders this guy. Baby wins his fight. Jake then fights Tattoo Guy and he wins. Jake's talking to Nancy. My goodness, ma'am. Hal goes to visit Jake. The next day, Jake fights Black Rose. Finally, what the cover promised. I just remembered something. Didn't he say...
And you can't fight with 1 kidney. It's like suicide.
So how is he fighting so well? They do a lot of flippy-kicky until Jake takes him out. Jake and Kwong follows the old man, who's going to tell them who murdered Mike. They follow him back to his place and find him, but yep, suicide. Jake then gets away before the police find him. Now it's Chun Woo versus Baby. In this corner, Chun Woo. And in this corner, Baby. No one puts Baby in the corner. Baby gets absolutely destroyed and sent to the hospital. The police come to arrest Jake. I told you to leave, but you didn't listen. Jake escapes prison so he can fight Chun Woo. Then Baby dies. On the way to the fight, Jake eats the mango. Uh-oh, the mango was drugged! So now the movie turns into Supreme Warrior. Jake's alright, he's got Tommy Chong in his corner. Angela's so mad that Chun Woo killed Baby that she's gonna murder him. Jake sees this and, oh, good job. So he stops her from killing him, and in the process, Chun Woo kills her. Great job, guy. Jake then beats the hell out of Chun Woo and tears his earring off. So is this the Bloodfist? More like Blood Palm. Hal recognizes Kwong as the Snake and warns Jake. Now that Jake knows that Kwong killed his brother, it's time for the showdown. The fight leads all the way back to that alley in the beginning. And there's that fence again. I think you know what's going to happen. Oh! Jake then stumbles back to find Nancy. Okay, honey, let's get you to the hospital. And then let's get you out of Manila before the police find you. Bloodfist was filmed in the Philippines on a budget of somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000. This movie was made to take advantage of the 1988 Cannon action film Bloodsport, the movie that introduced the world to Jean-Claude Van Damme. Bloodsport was a huge hit. Wanting to discover the next action star, Corman had his staff do some research, and the name that kept coming up was Don the Dragon Wilson. He was hired and initially contracted for 2 films, but with Bloodsport doing overwhelmingly well, he was hired to do several more. In the beginning of the movie, they introduce you to each of the main fighters. In this, they just called him Don Wilson, although he usually goes by Don the Dragon Wilson. The other big fighters in the movie were Rob Kamen, Billy Blanks, and Chris Aguilar. Michael Shaner obviously knows how to fight, but I don't think he's done so professionally. Bloodfist was not Don the Dragon Wilson's first film, but it was his first starring role. At the time, he was the World Kickboxing Association's light heavyweight world champion. As a pro boxer, he had 9 fights with 6 wins, 3 by knockout, and 3 losses. As a kickboxer, he's had 82 fights with 72 wins, 48 by knockout, 5 losses, 2 draws, and 3 no contest. After Bloodfist, he started to get more action movie roles, and became a regular in movies from Corman and PM Entertainment. Joe Mari played the evil guy Kwang, a trained martial artist born in the Philippines. He starred in a number of Corman films. He's usually played a bad guy, or a bad guy disguised as a good guy. In the original script, the movie was supposed to take place in Hong Kong. However, for budget reasons, they decided to do it in Manila. However, certain mentions of Hong Kong still exist in the finished film.
Hong Kong passengers made a smart.
The movie opened on September 22nd, 1989. It was a worldwide hit, and after international and video sales, it pulled in well over $10 million. They fast-tracked a sequel, and Bloodfist 2 was released on October 12th, 1990, a little over a year since the first. After that, the Bloodfist series was a in-name-only series. Wilson played different characters in each one. This series was continued 8 more times. Don the Dragon Wilson starred in all of them, except for the futuristic soft reboot sequel, Bloodfist 2050. Bloodfist was remade 3 times. Full Contact, Dragonfire, and Angel Fist, all released in 1993. Full Contact was a straight-up remake. Dragonfire takes place in the future of 2050. So, Bloodfist 2050 from 2005 could be seen as a remake of Dragonfire. Dragonfire also shamelessly copied the poster for Dragon from earlier in 1993. Angel Fist was the gender-swapped version, with Kat Sassoon in the Don the Dragon Wilson spot. It also starred Michael Shaner from Bloodfist as Alcatraz. Full Contact and Dragonfire were the only 2 to be shot in the US, the rest were in the Philippines. Bloodfist is one of the best low-budget martial arts films of its time. Although I have to say, 6 is my favorite. It's essentially Die Hard in a nuclear missile silo. The fight scenes are all well choreographed, and the story is just enough to keep you engaged. It's also got Vic Diaz in, thankfully, a role where he isn't a farting vampire.
Oh, this is Jake.
We met.
He's staying with us. Jake? This is my sister, Nancy.